How the f has this gotten worse? How has Clash Royale's development team refused to address any of the blatant issues that are presented regarding the game's state? Apologies to all of you who are just tuning in to be greeted with that, but I need to address this incompetence real quick. This will break away from my traditional formatting videos, but at this point, this whole Clash Royale situation is starting to get a bit ridiculous. So those of you inside the Clash Royale community probably follow content creators such as B-Rad, Cashman, Bossy R, Crusher or Ken, just to name a few, some of which have been covering this information extensively, and I thank massively for providing some of the information I'm about to mention, but obviously others have to shy away from protesting this considering they're reliant on Clash Royale for their careers, which I totally understand. Well, I'm not one of those people, and I'm in a unique position where I can sort of share my opinion on this thing, so buckle up ladies and gentlemen, because I've got quite the juicy set of complaints for you all to enjoy. First of all, this game and its greed will obviously put Mr. Krabs' business practice to shame. Like, are you kidding me? $100 for all evolutions? That's without mentioning the recently added Goblin Mortar. The burden of this illogical evolution system is almost as disgusting as the fact that the golden gems are so massively inflated compared to spending money for the elite role cards required to upgrade your cards to level 15 to the point where it's just easier to throw your money at Supercell compared to trying to even compete with those prices. I know this has been widely discussed already, but oh my goodness, is the majority of Clash Royale's development team an absolute joke. I know that Supercell and the Clash Royale development team to an extent has its investors satisfied, but they're holding Drew and Frank hostage or something. What sort of bounty has the investors placed on the heads of Drew and Frank and their families to justify this entire update? This nonsensical treatment is made even worse when you factor in Drew alongside Frank, another developer who works on Clash Royale, are also in charge of All Stars, and the fact that they treat the game amazingly compared to Clash Royale is just humiliating. I mean, I can't directly fault the two of them. I know a lot of big games usually get into murky waters that often benefit those who spend money on the game thanks to the investors wanting to squeeze everything out of Clash Royale, but if this was a company-wide thing, why haven't we seen this immense amount of greed from Clash of Clans or Brawl Stars, especially if Drew and Frank are involved with the latter? Unless Clash Royale has some form of hidden value that I don't really understand, I'd rather honestly fault the team in general for bending over to such mysterious men in black suits that wield the money to have such an out-of-touch say on the game. They're the people behind some of this after all, unless Supercell also has Clash Royale wrapped around its own corporate leash, but what's the point of that? It's not like Clash Royale is Supercell's most competitive game. If anything, Brawl Stars requires a lot more skill and a lot more practice, but I guess there's an ulterior motive in the form of the fact that this game being quite competitive and it's got esports as well. God, even trying to justify this shit is hard considering you want a competitive game to be as balanced as it can as opposed to being paid to win, right? Even more damning is the fact that Drew and Frank's treatment of Brawl Stars alongside that collective development team is so much better than Clash Royale, despite them literally working on both games as influential members of the development teams. I mean, take Brawl Stars for example. Loot boxes were removed and replaced with star drops, which can be earned by just playing in the game. Star Road was added as well, where you can buy the Brawl Pass with gems and you can basically unlock every border through Star Road, as opposed to say buying all the cards that you require from the item shop only to have them nerfed a week later. That's not even the worst part though. I think the worst part is the fact they've also been slightly nerfing the drop rate of magic items alongside wild cards throughout the past few years at this point to make way for this update. A lot of people are suspecting this update was in the making for just a few weeks considering it's relatively low effort, but no, this was cooked up in the Krusty Krab itself and then served months in advance, slowly but surely leeching away the drop rate of wild cards and magic items until eventually landing at this measly 20% across the board for some forms of wild cards. Absolutely disgusting. If there's one thing you and I probably hate the most, is predatory companies taking advantage of a new update or a new feature and milking it dry to the biggest or smallest degree. This could have been more apparent in the fact that they introduced an emote related to having a crap royale connection. You'd think this is innocent enough, right? Released for gold and gems? Nope, instead it costs a good $2 and actually upscales worse inside a region such as Europe or the United Kingdom. So that's a great f*** you from Supercell. Furthermore, the emote was actually stolen as an idea from the community emote contest that was held a while back, and Supercell initially rejected it, only to turn around months later and to then turn it into an emote that could be bought directly for cash. This was without any other offers alongside it too. Like, you think they followed the previous example of most of their packs, but no, they're really squeezing the proverbial tea of Clash Royale right until that milk dries out and there's nothing left but an aftertaste. I honestly think this meme sums up a lot of what's happened to Clash Royale as of late with the whole mismanagement, the crisis that has occurred, as well as many people just getting fed up of the game. Furthermore, the community is completely powerless to protest any of this. This update was specifically made to cater to the 1%, those that drive fancy cars but as dying on caviar as opposed to us mere mortals, and those who are willing to blindly accept the shitty state of the game in response to having more features unlocked that they could buy. If anything, I bet they see it as a good thing that they can thrash their opponents with these overpowered cards and evolutions that they bought instead of having to grind for it. I'm going to make this clear now, it's not like evolutions are the big deal here. I mean, they're still relatively hard to obtain, but they're not too difficult. It's the concept of level 15 itself and the greed behind it. I mean, everyone and their relatives knows about how level 14 is only a third of the way till max now, but was this update really necessary to begin with? Why do we need level 15 on top of evolutions? Evolutions by themselves would have been a great update, but instead we got an upgrade that's purely fueled by greed and gluttony. Like, this update would have been so good if it wasn't overshadowed by level 15 and the fact that almost every level 15 card is buffed by 10%, so you're pretty much screwed if you're an underdog going against someone with unfairly over-leveled cards that they probably used their 5th debit card to pay you for. I mean, dynamic cards are being cycled and involved. If it was more balanced, then maybe it would have added a whole new aspect to the game that would have been enjoyable. It lives under the shadow of the mountain that happens to be the unbalanced posture Supercell decided to take with the introduction of these cards. Just look at how ridiculous the Royal Giant is now. God, the amount of offers this game shoves in your face upon logging in is just an exponential joke as well. Like, there are so many offers in the shops now that your thumbs will probably get more exhausted navigating the shop than to get your free daily reward, as opposed to spending 3 hours withering away watching YouTube shorts. I don't care about a lightning chest for $1. I just want my 10 archers that the game's giving me out of pity as I didn't purchase anything, damn it. Like I actually have this game installed still. It doesn't really deserve a place on my phone or any free-to-play player's phone for that matter, considering how deluded some of Drew's takes are on everything. Here's just one of the many screenshots you can probably find of him trying to justify this update despite there being some massive community backlash accompanied by outrage surrounding it. From what I heard, Supercell often reflects and celebrates their failures by drinking some champagne and brainstorming ideas quite like the ancient Persians would, with them discussing things sober and drunk, but it looks like the entire Clash Royale development team must be alcoholic considering the absolute bender they're going to be going on this year with the massive failings of this update. I don't think the 1% who actually matter in Supercell eyes actually care about this game being affected by all these crappy updates. We've already seen some content creators withdraw from criticizing Supercell as of recently. I'm not exactly calling them spineless, but well, it is their job. Obviously they need to keep their opinions limited as opposed to having the faucet basically turned off regarding stuff such as the creator code and their position in Supercell's support program. Doesn't help that to further this case, Supercell's marketing team happens to be off its rockets regarding marketing and advertisements. Like, I don't care if this image is doctored or not, it's hilarious to me as it's something completely believable considering the depth Supercell would be willing to go to advertise this dying game. It's not like it's dying or anything though, it's just rotting at its core, and the hidden, corrupt and somewhat lifeless soul shall inevitably puppet Clash Royale what eventually made it good. Adding on to this point of desperation happens to be the fact that if you're enrolled in this program and if you're someone who uses an Android device, Clash Royale are actually offering more of a currency known as play points to incentivize people to spend their money on the game. Play points are essentially a pseudo currency that allow you to redeem them for credits or discounts, and the fact that Clash Royale is essentially giving 5 times that is Supercell currently saying please spend more money on this game so you can get more money back to spend more money, if that makes any sense at all to you guys. Even if you do spend money, it's not like you're going to be rewarded for it. Just look at this Redditor's post. They were supposed to get extra elite wildcards for having their troops grayed out, meaning that they're max level and they're meant to be converted into wildcards, but nope, that didn't happen at all. Instead they got a pitiful portion of 1000 elite wildcards, which in the grand scheme of things does absolutely nothing to assist in the leveling up process. I would feel even worse if that guy bought that chest. Every little helps, I guess. The state of this game is honestly depressing at this point. You know it's bad when the furry who used to originally do movie reviews is making another video about this. The first time I tried to retain a somewhat monotone posture and tried to look at it from a neutral perspective, but nowadays I couldn't give a shit about being neutral. This update is pure garbage. The state of this game is horrendous, but Supercell won't care in the long run so long as it keeps their long-term player base invested, and well, this update was engineered to do exactly that. As scummy as it is, fair play to Supercell for creating an update so toxic to the free-to-play player base that also directly ensures the longevity of the game for those who spend horrendous amounts of money on the game, to encourage them to keep spending time and heinous amounts of their hard-earned cash while the Clash Royale development team get to retreat to the Bahamas, or whether they're planning on spending the next 3 months before carelessly worsening the game with yet another pointless profit-driven update. Bet those investors are really happy in spite of the fact that the core of this community is beginning to sear itself thanks to the burning flames that have been ripping apart this game for years now, at least ever since the corporate investors got some weird say in this whole affair. One more thing I'd like to quickly add is the fact that Crushers21 raged for Clash Royale in his latest video that he uploaded honestly goes to show how bad the problems are in Clash Royale, to the point where the competitive scene isn't even much fun anymore. It's not really relative to anything else regarding level 15, but I'd like to point out what he said regarding the matchmaking system seemingly being rigged. You know it's already bad when he begins the video looking like a Caucasian hog rider, but he mentions something important, that happens to be the fact that the game entices you with a few good matches in ladder before proceeding to crap on you whilst intentionally hard counters as matchups are seen, and I also think this is 100% intentional in order to feed into someone's addiction to grinding out the game, giving them a few matches where destroying someone until that time fades out and then they're the victim of someone else's arbitrarily determined win streak. It was so painful witnessing the absolute descent into madness that was him dropping a whole 10,000 spots on the leaderboard, sleeping after spending 13 hours straight grinding the game to hit a top position. I'm not someone who has evidence or the resources to pull from Clash Royale's API, but it feels as if they're giving you a power trip in the hopes of hooking you, later crapping on you, as the game relies on your optimism, belief in yourself that you're good, when in reality the game is just matching you against hard counters on purpose to feed that false sense of competition. Anyways, I think that's all I've got to say about this for now. This video is unplanned and simplistic for obvious rambling reasons. Regardless, thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, a subscription would be greatly appreciated. Farewell for now, may the cosmos shine upon you.